Okay, in this video, I'm going to show you how I take care of plums, pluots, and this here is a new variety for me. This is my Asian pear. This is a 3-in-1 Asian pear, and when I bought this particular variety, it too was, you kind of see, I made some cut. I cut it back because I had these 3 long wispy branches. Because you can see this is how they do it. They go big, long, so it's these big, long, wispy things. So I cut them back, and I put in my spreaders to spread this out so that it would go exactly where I wanted it to go, so that I have plenty of space in this opening. And now I'll move this one here out also. This one's actually coming out far enough. Because of the way that my sun comes from the east to the west here, that I'll be able to get this variety from here, this variety is going to come out this direction, and this variety is going to come over to this side here. And it will get sun most of the day. So I'm pretty fortunate, I'm very blessed to have the spot that I have to grow in. I'm not using any trainers on this right now because there's nothing to be pulling back. But you can see they definitely want to grow straight up. I will let this thing here come out. I may keep probably just one of these, but because I just planted it in here, I want the plant to become strong before I make any more training cuts on it. But that's all it is. Sometimes that's all you need is just a spreader to spread out your stuff and put it right where you want it. Along my wall here is kind of what I'm trying to accomplish. Now we move over here to my plums and pluots. And again, most of these varieties I'm turning from trees to bushes because I don't need 200 or 300 pieces of plums. I don't need all the neighbors telling me all the time, no, I got plenty of stuff. So I'm converting. I'm using that backyard orchard culture program with lots of pruning, so I don't allow anything to grow behind. So if here's my main line, nothing grows behind towards this. It all gets cut out. I'm growing a little bit this way, and I'm going to grow some out this way here. And as you can see, everything wants to grow up. With plums and pluots, this one happens to be a burgundy. I will be cutting this down just a little bit so I can thicken this up a little bit more. Here's those trainer tree bands though. Again, this is going to want to grow out and go somewhere else, but I'm not going to let it. So I'm just going to take a band and put it on, and it's not going to go anywhere. It can't drop anywhere further, but that's as far as this thing can go. You can see that I actually had twisted off the top, and so now I'm starting to get new growth. Wherever you twist off, wherever you end your cut, you're going to thicken up and get more branching. With plums, just like the other varieties, they're so tender, so you can't put weights on them yet, otherwise it'll just snap them right off. So I'm going to be layering this tree here out. I'm getting more branching in here, you know, and I did that same thing where I started off with a tree that was this big and I cut it down. You can see where I started way down here, and now I'm branching it out. I've got some weights in here, pulling this stuff down a little bit. We're making good strong crotch angles in there, and now this one here is hardened off. And that's about the level that I really want to be. I'll probably take this down just a little bit. Like I said, I'm only going to be about so high. You notice on the ground here, I have watermelon vines. I grow vines in my planter boxes like this, not necessarily for that fruit, but to keep my soil cool. Because out here in this heat in Chino Hills, California, we can have some pretty warm days. So that's why I put vines growing around to just to keep my soils cooler for the plant. notice on this here, this is a king Pluot. Well, here, obviously I tied these. Same thing with here. I cut it, I started growing down lower, I got lots of branching, and because of these, because these branches are so tender at first, and you want to get a good crotch angle, you'll see on the internet that a lot of people talk about using clothespins to bend that down, or you'll see them, they talk about, some people use toothpicks. Now, I'm not a big fan of that toothpick thing, but anyways, that's just my my opinion on it. But I want strong crotch angles, because if they're more like this, they'll break real easy. But if we can get crotch angles that are like this here, then you will have good strong branching. It can hold more fruit, and you're going to be better off for it. So these are still very young trees. This here is still just a little bit too green. I'd already cut it off once right here, and obviously just in the last couple months we've gotten that much growth out the end of it. Oftentimes you'll cut here and 2 or 3 will come out. So when you start cutting back this way, you're going to get more branching and more fruiting branches. So you get more fruit. Again, I'm turning this into, I want this to be a fruit bush, not a fruit tree. This is a king Pluot. I love king Pluots. This whole area in here is all different varieties of Pluots that are going to be bushes. It's going to be just a big hedge of Pluots and plums. This here, this is a Flavorella, which is a plum cot. And I bought this, and this was a damaged one. And I'm bringing it back. So I cut him back. I didn't want to cut him too far back, so I'm starting over with this guy too. But you can see, this stuff here is already heavy enough to where I can get the branches, or get my blocks in here and start pulling me down to level me out. More than likely, I'll start thinning these out, and I'll be going every other one, because you don't want branching that is perfectly even. You don't want a stalk and then perfectly branch. You want them offset just a little bit for a little stronger tree. I've learned these things over the years, that having, oh, look at how perfect they are, and take off the wrong one, and then you end up with a weak tree. So that's what I'm doing with plums and Pluots. Asian pears is growing them, keeping them small. My fruit will be wonderful. Again, any questions, send us an email.